No more disabled people can now see the Queen lying in state at the Palace of Westminster after the government permanently closed the accessible queue this afternoon. Like I was saying before the news, it's a perfect reflection of the government's attitudes to the less well-off. Tens of thousands of mourners have braved 14-hour 5-mile queues and plunging overnight temperatures since Wednesday to do, quotes, whatever it takes to pay their final respects to Britain's longest reigning monarch before her state funeral and burial on Monday. The accessible queue for people with disabilities was closed this morning, then resumed at midday, and then closed again. The Department for Digital, Culture, Media and Sport announced it had reached full capacity and the queue was now permanently closed, as in forever. You get nothing. Those waiting in the queue, which is now has its own weather forecast. You can see it from space, was the big headline in one of the papers today, with photographs apparently taken from space, although the photographs look like they were taken from the top of a ladder. I mean, you can see anything from space. You can see people's number plates from space. You could probably see an ant from space if you used the right equipment. I mean, if we can look into space and see practically the dawn of time itself, then surely you can see a giant queue from space pretty much with the naked eye. I don't know that that's true, but it doesn't prevent it from being a fact. Those waiting in the queue, which now has its own weather forecast, face temperatures of 7 degrees centigrade, and I'll translate that into patriotic Fahrenheit for you. So 7 times 2 is 15, and 15 plus 32 is 48. 48 degrees. Wow, that sounds pretty cold. That was the temperature just before 7 o'clock this morning, at which time the official queue tracker advised the public not to make the journey, which people completely ignored. They ignored the not part and just concentrated on the make the journey bit. London ambulance service figures showed that in the 12 hours to midnight last night, 275 people were treated, of which 39 were taken to hospital.
What?
To hospital is the result of all that queuing. Some texts and emails from last night. Tom in Sevenoaks says, Are you going to do your show from the queue? Well, let me think about that for a minute. No. This text says, talking about guinea pigs, which we were a lot last night. I can't quite remember why, but we were. Says, I think the queue, talking about guinea pigs, I think the queue is a social experiment, says that anonymous texter. It does seem to be completely unnecessary, and 39 people have gone to hospital. I think that's a sign. Chrissy emails, are you looking forward to Philip Schofield's apology for queue chumping being read out by fellow line skipper Holly this week? I have no idea what you're talking about. Pip Schofield did what now? Who cares? Graham says, Russia, China, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Afghanistan, Pakistan, North Korea, Myanmar, Belarus, Nigeria. All disgraceful, corrupt countries, no leaders at the funeral. Right. But I think Saudi Arabia is sending somebody, aren't they? Right. All disgraceful, corrupt countries. OK. Graham's found out which are the disgraceful, corrupt countries and has adumbrated them for us. Adumbrated, look it up. Marion in Bromley says, am I the only person who has no desire or physical ability to stand around for up to 14 or whatever hours to eventually file past and view a coffin for just a minute or two? No, Marion. I think you're in the majority there. But I think part of the queue is to make it appear as though they are the majority, the people in the queue. But they aren't. They're the minority. It just looks like they're the majority because those are the only people you see. You don't get coverage of people who decided not to go. Just sitting in their living room, thinking about whether to have another cup of tea or not. Nice and warm and dry. Paul tweets, the 24-hour all-weather queue has confirmed what I already suspected. This whole thing is a cult. Another Paul says, it could be the same one. I have no idea. It says, when you say that the queuing could be sorted via technology, have you forgotten the shambles of their last effort, the track and trace, a bargain at £42 billion? Billion pounds. He says, using your £1 a second rule, the track and trace would have taken 1,300 1,340 years. 1,340 years for the contact tasting, Bodge.
Contact tasting, tracing. Forgive me. Contact tracing.
Oh, give it up, mate. Put your feet up. Relax. Have a cigar. Take the weight off. You deserve it. 0345 6060 973. Maidstone.
Hello
Joan.
there, my dear.
Joan.
Hello. Am I being cynical?
Yes.
Couldn't they have done it like they do with celebrities? Just have them online, tickets to, take to them. That's what usually happens if you want to do something with a celebrity, get tickets for them.
If you want to go and see anything, you got to get tickets. I mean, that's the hangover from COVID. It used to be that you could walk into, say, a gallery. I know that
Right.
some of them have opened this up again now, but until very recently, you had, even if it was free, you had to get a ticket.
Yeah. And they could do it online.
Yep,
Surely it isn't. They've had years to plan this.
they have.
Didn't they think of poor old Joe Public?
Well, they must have done.
plodding along
They
there?
must have done because of the amount of time that they've had to plan it. So this is deliberate.
I think so. I think, it's all publicity. They want to get the public on their side, thousands of people even dropping. Somebody may even die.
Well, I said this last night. It doesn't seem unreasonable to expect that will be a consequence of what we're seeing here.
And there were babies there. Babies. 3-month-old baby.
Well, you know what? That's more on the parent, I think. I mean, some parents do insist on taking their babies to the most inappropriate places, like rock concerts or discos. I've seen a baby in a disco, if you can believe that. Not a place for a baby.
Yeah, I remember one being brought to the Lion King, and it spoiled the entertainment,
right.
when it came out.
Exactly, but you
But
can't.
I really believe this is a publicity stunt to say, look, all these people are on our side. I really do. Am I being cynical?
No, not at all. It seems a perfectly reasonable conclusion to reach, Joan.
Yeah, there we go, you see.
Don't beat yourself up about it. Oh, you're not, are you? No.
Not by any means.
All right. Cheers, my dear.
Okay, send me flowers to the tower.
Absolutely will not do anything of the sort. 0345 6060 973. Texts and tweets from last night. Actually, some of these are from tonight. Are you putting the later ones at the top of the list?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're putting the later. Okay, so I'll scroll down to get the older ones, because you got to use the older ones first, otherwise they go off. Bex texts, please tell me the lady who said that guinea pigs can live with rabbits. Please tell the lady who said that guinea pigs can live with rabbits. That is terrible advice. Yes, there was a nice lady who called last night that said just that guinea pigs can live with rabbits. Guinea pigs are apparently a pack animal, and they like company. I've got no idea whether that's true or not. It doesn't sound right. But if you say it out loud these days, then it becomes true. That's just a fact. Please tell the lady who said that guinea pigs can live with rabbits that it is terrible advice, says Bex. Rabbits bully and attack and even sometimes rape guinea pigs.
What?
What? And they should only ever be kept with other guinea pigs. That is a must, says Bex. That word must in capital letters with an exclamation after it, like she's shouting at me. Well, that does seem to be very important news for guinea pig lovers to keep in mind. Wow. This show's taken a dive and I've barely even started yet. Rob from Nebworth says, Nick, surely the second queue to join the main queue should be called the QE2. Oh, a listener with material.
Oh, no.
I am in pain. And this text says, here's a Brexit opportunity, the ability to lift bankers' bonuses. That's right. I mean, you could set your watch by it. How predictable is this? The Bank of England has backed a crazy Kwarteng's plan to scrap the cap on bankers' bonuses. The Bank of England did. Yeah, I bet they did. Ministers are plotting a bonfire of red tape dubbed Big Bang 2.0. And, considering that the Big Bang 1.0 led directly to the frenzy of dodgy and dangerous deals to maximise bonuses that led to the financial crash of 2007, which we will be paying for the rest of our lives, what could possibly go wrong with Big Bang 2.0? But it's okay that the government says there's nothing to worry about. Threadneedle Street said it had never supported the cap. Well, of course they hadn't. They're bankers. The bankers' cap was imposed before Brexit, and Threadneedle Street added, that's the whole street, that there are more effective measures to stop excessive risk-taking by bankers. Well, you know what? There aren't. If you take the stupidly massive reward away from stupidly crazy behaviour, then the behaviour stops. If you cap the amount of money that they can earn by making berserk bets, they'll stop making those bets. But what Threadneedle Street, the whole road apparently, what they meant, I would expect, when they said that more effective measures are available to stop excessive risk-taking by bankers, what they probably meant is good oversight and regulations, which the government also want rid of. I mean, sometimes you just like sit there open-mouthed at the nerve of these people. Crazy Kwarteng, the actual blooming Chancellor of the Exchequer, if you can believe that, he's probably going to scrap the banker bonus cap introduced by EU legislation in 2014, despite the political difficulties of unchaining city pay at a time of soaring living costs. They just don't care what you think. They're going to go ahead and enrich the rich anyway. This cap limits banker bonuses to twice their annual salary and is believed to be pushing talent away from London. Talent. Oh, do me a favour. Talent. Is that the same kind of talent that crashed the world in 2007?
Yes.
Yeah, that talent. You believe these people. Critics of the bonus cap argue that ditching it can boost the square mile's global competitiveness after Brexit and give banks more flexibility to reduce costs in downturns, which boils down to they'll be able to go back to ripping us off again. Boost the square mile's global competitiveness. Do me a favour. That's what that means. Taking off the shackles, Big Bang, just means that they can go back to ripping us off again. I mean, if not directly, although they do as much of that as they can get away with, but in the sense that we pay for their losses. When they win their bets, because it is just betting, they cash in. Big time. When they lose their bets, we pay to cover their losses. What a racket, eh? I mean, no wonder they donate so much cash to Tory politicians. You've got to spend a bit to make a bit. And since the cap, banks have been forced to pay staff a higher base salary in order to hire talented workers. And they're whining that this means that pay can't be cut as easily during a downturn when in the past it would have been possible to simply scrap bonuses, which is nonsense. Because if they actually are talented workers and they don't get a bonus, they'll just up sticks and go off to some other house of finagling and earn a bonus there. And anyway, bonuses don't match performance. Every CEO in the banking world gets their bonus no matter what their company does. I mean, have you ever heard of a poor ex-CEO of a bank?
No.
Don't exist. But, Crazy Kwarteng has told bank bosses to expect a post-Brexit Big Bang 2.0 for financial services, Thatcher's original Big Bang being the thing that increased wealth inequality, enriched the wealthy, made the poor poorer, and led to the biggest financial crisis in our lifetimes. But I'm sure that this new one's going to be just fine. 0345 6060 973, Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbot, LBC.
This is LBC.
Isabella emails, did you hear about the lady who brought her mother's ashes to pay respect to the Queen? Now I've heard it all, says Isabella. Wow. Well, now I've heard it all too. Did that actually happen? Brought her mother's ashes to pay respect to the Queen. Okay. Has anybody in that queue actually shown up looking smarter than David Beckham yet, by the way? Anybody at all? I didn't think so. Bromley. Hello, John.
Yes, hello?
John.
Hello, Darren?
Darren's not here, John. I'll call you back as soon as he arrives. All right. I don't know. I'm just getting a feeling about that one.
Warning, warning.
How about you? I'm going to go with my gut instinct. It's just the way he answered the phone. Hello? Are you there? I'm going to say no. And furthermore...
No.
No, it's a no from me. But thanks for making the effort, John. Sue says, sometimes I hear people say that life has gotten so strange it feels like they're living in a parallel universe, and now I'm wondering whether this might be happening to me. For example, I surely didn't hear today that our newly appointed multi-millionaire Chancellor Crazy Kwarteng has come up with a genius plan of removing the cap on bankers' bonuses, ostensibly to boost the economy and help us get through the current cost of living crisis. I mean, does he honestly think that anyone sees this as anything other than the Tories' usual raison d'etre, i.e. to make the rich richer and the poor poorer? Says Sue, lapsing into French at the end there. There was a poll about this. There was a YouGov did a poll. They asked the question: there is currently a cap on bonuses that can be given to bankers, which means they can receive a maximum of double their salary as a bonus. Do you think this cap should or should not be scrapped so they can get any amount as a bonus? That was the question. And the people said...
No.
No. By a massive margin. 15% said that the banker's bonus should be scrapped. 67% said it should not be scrapped. And it doesn't really matter who you ask. If you ask just Conservative voters, 65% of them said it shouldn't be scrapped. If you ask the Labour voters, 80% of those said that the banker's bonus should not be scrapped. Even if you ask Leave voters, 67% of them say that the banker's bonus should not be scrapped. So who is Liz Truss actually trying to appeal to here? Oh, yeah, that's right. Bankers. Bankers. Yeah, the people with the money, the donor class. It becomes more and more evident that they don't care what you think. I mean, the Tory party changed their leader like most people change their pants. And we don't vote for any of them. I mean, does anybody that voted for Bodger Johnson actually think that the Trust bot is going to enact any of the policies that they thought that Boris Johnson was going to? I mean, it seems to be a completely different party. It's not even really the Conservative Party anymore. It's the ERG. It's like Night of the Living Dead has taken over this country. But, you know, in what passes for a democracy, you don't get to vote on who runs the country anymore. Great. Good to know. Let's have Bloomsbury, Sophia.
Good evening, Nick.
Sophia.
I'm glad to hear you are well. Oh, you were last night when I was listening.
Yeah.
I hope it's still the same.
Well,
because
I don't know. The way I'm listening to my voice at the moment, I seem a bit nasally, like I've caught something.
Well, we've both been the benefit of Glaswegian climate. Maybe that's had a lot to do with it.
There's been a lot of rain lately, no doubt about that.
Always, yes.
Not always. Lately.
Frequently.
Just lately. Very, very infrequently, actually, yes, Sophia. So you got that wrong, but just lately.
Yeah, I agree, lately. I just think it's a pity that Lizzie and her late husband never got the benefit of the telegram for getting to be over 100.
100.
Yeah.
Right.
My grandma got it 102.
Wow.
So, and
that would have been a bit bizarre to receive a telegram from... Is there such a thing as a telegram anymore?
Exactly. That's another point, I dare say. Anyway, I just want to say... my middle name is Olive, which you arrange the letters of, and you get I love. And people say, if you rearrange the letters of Tony Blair, you get he be liar. I just want to say, it's a pity that the music has deteriorated since before.
Since before when?
the coronation.
Music has deteriorated since before the coronation.
Well, that's within my mandate. And in 1952, there was I Believe by Frankie Lane, and I was playing it on the piano from the sheet music. And since then, it's always been about I love you all the time. And I've got that sewed up from my own mandate.
Well, you are making a lot of sense, Sophia.
Yes, that's it. And a lot of music, I didn't bring the harmonica with me this time. It was going to be...
that is unfortunate, because if you had got the harmonica with you, then I would have asked you to put it away and not bother us with it. So,
well, then I wouldn't have lost it anyway.
Fortunately, yeah.
These days I'm on the guitar. But
well, if that's what they're calling the medicine you're being prescribed, then that's just fine. Thanks a lot, Sophia. She's on the guitar, whatever that means. I'm on about 3 guitars a day now, man. But I can handle it. I'm just feeling a bit woozy at the moment, that's all. Thanks, Sophia. Appreciate it. Walter in Edinburgh emails, unfortunately, Ecuadorians do eat guinea pigs. In the farmhouses, they will be found in little bricked-up pens in the corner, happy and unknowing. Little do they know. My partner's mother, La Abuela, ate our pet guinea pig, Tito. She denied it, of course, but we never believed her, says Walter in Edinburgh. I wouldn't have thought there'd be much meat on a guinea pig. I mean, you know, you could eat like a couple as a snack between meals. It's the snack between meals that doesn't ruin your appetite, or however that ad used to go. But I'd need about like 6 or 7, I think, for a main meal. Who's with me? Hands in the air. Lucy in Balham says, has Liz Truss explored whether her fracking plans will affect any of our happy British fish? Yeah, their first reaction, the happy British fish, will be to swim upside down and then die. You know, this fracking thing, here's another thing that is like a swift turnabout from where we were going. The government said that they would not frack. That was the conclusion that they came to a good long while ago, and we voted for them based on what they said about this and many other issues. This was 2019. Fracking will not be allowed to proceed in England, the government announced. Ministers took the decision on the basis of a report by the Oil and Gas Authority, which found that it is not currently possible to accurately predict the probability or magnitude of earthquakes linked to fracking operations. Plus, if you've got fracking up your way, that fire comes out of your taps. That's just a fact. Fracking already takes place across the world in places like the US, but exploratory work to determine whether shale could be the new domestic energy source delivering benefits for our economy and energy security have now been paused, unless and until further evidence is provided that it can be carried out safely here. There has been no further evidence provided that it can be carried out safely here, and yet the Truss bot is going to go ahead and do it anyway. I imagine because her puppet masters have told her to do exactly that. I mean, does anybody seriously think that she's coming up with this stuff? This was 2019. This was government policy. But we don't have the government that we voted for last time around. It was so long ago, I've actually forgotten who it was we did vote for last time around. They changed their leader like the direction of the wind. Every time every time you look around, there's another one in number 10. What's this one going to be like?
Dreadful.
Just like the last one. Actually worse. It seems hard to believe. I know I said this last night. I may have said it multiple times. And I'm going to continue saying it until they change their leader again. But we might now, as hard as it is to believe, be shortly be looking back on the Boris Johnson administration as the good old days.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Where things made sense, sort of. I mean, at least he was funny, not just plain scary. It is like being run by a robot.
Affirmative.
Yeah. Paul texts, if Liz Truss has a puppet master, my money is on Jerry Anderson. Yeah. Highgate. Hello, Anthony.
Hi, Nick. How you doing?
Good, thanks.
Good. So I just
I can't believe I've done this. I never thought I was going to do it, but I've just left the Queen lying in state. I queued since 9 o'clock this morning. I've just got off the tube now at Highgate, and I was listening to you last night, so I wanted to give you a call. And just it was a 13-hour queue, and I can't feel my feet right now. But there's a couple of things that were said last night that I just thought, oh, okay. You said about this booking system, how you thought it would be a good idea, but I'm not sure how really practical that would be in such a tight turnaround to get this thing up and running in such a short period of time. You know, people miss
do me a favour, short period of time. They've been planning this for about a decade.
Yeah, but I mean, in the practicalities of people's lives, imagine if they miss their slot or something happens, or sometimes you can't get an hour when you can go, and it's not possible to join another queue to get into another hour. I think that they've from a practicality point of view, from what I saw today, they've dealt with it in the fairest way possible.
Nonsense.
There was no queue jumping. Yeah, no, seriously, no queue jumping. No.
There was. There was. I read reports of queue jumping.
Well, apart from if you talk about those,
apart from all of the people that jumped the queues, there were no queue jumpers. You're right.
Well, there were those two TV presenters that did just that.
Well, they weren't queue jumping. They were given a VIP pass.
Well, okay, but from what I saw today, from I arrived at Southwark Park at 9:30, and when we left there tonight, the same, I don't know, 20, 30 people that were around me were the same faces in the same order. Right, nobody pushed.
Yeah, 30 people didn't push in, but I mean, I'm certainly not. I'm not going to get into a discussion about whether they were or not queue jumpers, because they were. You just didn't see any in the 30 people that you were around. Okay, well that's great, but there's hundreds of thousands of people have queued up, and also it doesn't make any sense at all to make people of all ages and physical ability to queue for 14 hours, continually shuffling forward. That's ridiculous. They should have given them a time slot. Arrive 10 minutes before your time, and you'll be in a small queue, and you'll be able to get through, and you won't have to queue up for 14 hours. It'll be 10 minutes, and you'll be able to carry on with your life. It just doesn't make any sense to force people. I mean, it seems like torturing people who are trying to do what they think is the right thing.
Kind of, but I would say that there was
kind of.
Well, hang on, but when you arrive,
just a little light torture. That's all.
Well, okay, I'll be honest with you. Yes, 11 hours in, I'd agree with that statement.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Name one other thing that requires you to queue for 14 hours.
Well, nothing, zero. And if you ask me if I'd do it again, the answer would be no. But what I would say is, for the first, I don't know, 11 hours till the sun went down. Basically, you're talking with people. There's a nice atmosphere. You get to stop and see things in town that you don't ordinarily get to stop and stare at, because you've got no choice but to stand still and look around you. So
there's always the option to standing still, regardless of where you are.
Yeah, but
unless
you're
in the middle. But you can though.
Well, okay, but you'd go to work and you go home and you're busy. You go to the gym, you see your friends. But you're not looking at the rooftops or anything like that until you're standing there and you're like, God, this. And especially
Anthony, lift your gaze from the pavement. The beauty is all around you.
Okay.
Just take a moment to drink it in, and wish you all the best. Thanks a lot, mate. 0345 6060 973. That is good advice. If you know a route, then you don't tend to take it in. I mean, you do the same route every day. You go back and forth to work or wherever it is that you go. And it's all just, you don't really pay attention much to it anymore. Well, start paying attention. Start paying attention like it's the last time you might ever do that route. Or the first time that you've ever done that route. And I absolutely, totally and completely guarantee that you will see things that you've never seen before. Just take a moment to drink it in. Athene emails, if the Queen had reached 100 years of age, would she have received a congratulatory communication from her own estate? I don't know. We've dealt with that, though. Or rather, we've mentioned it. I don't think we dealt with it, but, mentioned it. In passing. This text says, why don't we just get rid of Crazy Kwarteng and put Nick Leeson in charge of the banks? Well, that makes as much sense as anything else I've read this year. And Johnny on that subject says the bankers, when they had their bonuses capped to 200% of their salaries, just whacked up their salaries to get around it. That's right. I bet it's a tax thing. I bet their salaries are taxed PAYE. But I bet their bonuses aren't. I bet the bonuses come extra on top, and they'll be in the form of things that don't get taxed, PAYE. They get taxed at asset, whatever that is, asset appreciation tax. I can't remember what that's called now, but you know what I mean. You know, they'll get paid in boxes of wine or like flash cars or shares and stuff like that. I bet that's partly it. Welling Garden City. Hello, Daniel.
Good evening, Nick. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Good. Are you wearing a black suit?
Yes.
Really?
Absolutely.
Because you've been able to, or because you just turned up in one?
I just look fantastic in black.
Well, it is slimming. Not that you need it.
It is slimming, yeah, that's right.
I don't understand why that is. I mean,
why what is?
Why radio presenters are kind of being, I don't know, I suppose pressured isn't the right word, being advised.
Well, wearing black. But how do you know that they are?
I've seen a clip of James O'Brien wearing one.
Correct. Yes, because radio is television now.
Yeah, but your show isn't.
Well, I know, but there's a very good reason for that.
Not yet. Not yet.
There is a very good reason for me not being on camera, apart from the way I look. And the reason is that I run the desk. I'm the only person at LBC that actually runs the desk. Everybody else sits in a blank studio, and they have a person do all this technical stuff for them. But I do my own things.
You do all your own stunts.
Exactly right, yeah.
And if you run the desk, can you answer a question? How does the dump button work? Don't worry, I'm not going to test it.
How does it work? Well, everything that we're saying right now is it goes into a black hole for 7 seconds and then pops out the other side and then goes on the air. And if you press the dump button, then those 7 seconds disappear. So whatever rudeness was in that box just vanishes as though it never happened.
Oh, so it's just completely wiped, and then the 7 seconds regenerates itself somehow.
Yeah, very, very slowly.
2 in a row.
It shaves bits off each second until it's created another 7-second buffer again.
Well, it's very informative. It's like Mystery Hour. Like 2 James O'Brien references in one call.
Right. Okay, well, I'm another satisfied customer. Thanks a lot, Daniel. 0345 6060 973. And just to finish that thought, because I'm sitting where the engineer normally sits, there are no cameras in here. That's why I'm not on film, which suits me just fine. Because, I mean, apart from anything else, nobody wants to look at engineers. I mean, have you seen an engineer? Exactly. So there's no cameras where the engineers sit because nobody wants to see an engineer, and that's where I'm sitting because I run the desk. I'm like the Swiss Army knife of radio presenters. I do everything, me. Excellent value for money.
Correct.
Jerry says, considering Truss now thinks that fracking is safe, do you mind if we start digging away the foundations under your house in search of gas? Yeah, sure, why not? Go ahead. This says, Liz's most senior advisor is being investigated by the FBI for bribing US officials. It's all going swimmingly for the new leader. Well, being investigated is not necessarily, is not adjacent to having done anything wrong. Let's see where the investigations go, shall we? Chingford, John. Oh, John.
Hello?
Yes, John.
Oh, hi. And you normally say John in Chingford. Sorry, the face of it. Yeah, by the way, welcome back. I've had withdrawal symptoms when you're off the air for 2 weeks.
Well,
so
thanks,
lovely
John.
to have you back.
Cheers.
You were talking about the fashion of the people in the queue. One thing I noticed, actually, I mean, we're supposed to be the fattest nation in Europe, and yeah. I was surprised how trim everybody looked overall.
Really?
Yeah, I thought, and also, I mean, talk about fashion faux pas. I remember in the late 90s, I was walking down Oxford Street, minding my own business. All of a sudden, this mob descended in these dreadful caps, hideous Harris tree jackets that looked like they've been slept in for about 6 years, and even worse, sort of corduroy trousers. And it's apparently the Countryside Alliance. I think they were hoping the Labour government weren't going to ban fox hunting or something. So I mean, that was the worst. I mean, I thought our people in the queue, I thought they looked pretty good, actually. I mean, maybe, we all saw different clips, but I thought it looked quite fashionable, most of them.
Fashionable? Well, fashionable for Chingford, John. Is that what you mean?
Well, yeah, okay. I know we're not Loughton, but we're trying,
Well, that's right.
Trying.
Yeah, make an effort, and one day you'll catch up. All right, thanks a lot, John.
Yeah,
cheers, mate. 0345 6060 973. This text says Hugh Edwards had his black tie on before it was announced that the Queen was dead. Well, it wasn't he the man who announced that the Queen was dead, so he being the chap that said it, he had time to nip to the wardrobe. I'm guessing. I mean, I really don't know, but I would expect so. Lloyd in Brighton says, I'm not necessarily in favour of the poor getting poorer, but the rich getting richer sounds great, says Lloyd. Yeah. Lloyd in Brighton. Would you like to be the new Chancellor of the Exchequer? I think you fit the bill perfectly, Lloyd. This anonymous text says, can you still send telegrams? Not sure of the you can still send telegrams. Not sure of the details, but never mind. You can do your own research or get your assistant to do it. Carry on old school. I find that hard to believe. You can send telegrams. Well, how do they arrive? By post. So isn't that just sending a letter? 0345 6060 973. Text 848. Maybe the postie puts on a pair of long trousers when he delivers a telegram. That's probably what it is. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
This is LBC. Leading Britain's conversation. LBC with Nick Abbott.
I am not one of your fans!
Mick in Ipswich says, Nick, it's a shame you're not on camera. I heard Steve Allen say that you had a face for radio. Wow. Well, he has a point. Zara emails, Nick, I have a complaint. Uh-oh. Your podcast with the hilarious Carol McGiffin never comes out on a Monday as advertised.
What?
Can you do something about this ASAP? My Mondays are now miserable, says Zara. Get Bob Geldof on the phone. He'll sing it for us. In fact, cancel that, just in case he does. I thought they'd always come out on a Monday. I mean, I deliver it in time to have it come out on a Monday. It doesn't come out on a Monday. I'm distraught. We did it today. Let me rephrase that. We recorded our podcast today. And it is a laugh, this one. It's a laugh riot. We were guffawing like seals. The podcast is called What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol, in which the delightful and often wrong Carol McGiffin and I just like collapse in giggling while trying to help people. Essentially, it's about helping. That's what we're all about. We like to help. Ain't that right, Carol?
No.
And it's available on Global Player. If you haven't got Global Player in your life, then you should absolutely get it. It's available for Apple and Android. Stick it up your device. And if you want us to solve a problem of yours, then that is what we are in the business of doing. Simply send it to the following address. nickandcarol@global.com. NICKANDCAROL @global.com. And prepare yourself for total satisfaction.
Yeah.
Ask for it by name on an internet near you. What's your problem with Nick and Carol? And it comes out on Mondays. At least I thought it did. I'll look into it. If this next one doesn't come out on a Monday, then I'll go to the foot of our stairs. But as I live in a bungalow, that doesn't really mean anything. Exeter. Hello, John.
Hello, Nick. How are you?
Good, thanks.
My God, you're so predictable. Every time I get on your programme, I'm always after your plug for Nick and Carol.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was going to talk about cats and guinea pigs.
It's the prime position on the show.
Oh, right, yeah.
So be happy that that's where I've placed you.
I am absolutely delighted.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not bothered about that at all. And I'll get on to cats and guinea pigs in a minute.
Righto.
But before that, I've waited so long to speak to you this evening. It's been
Waited
about
so
40
long?
minutes.
Stop whining.
Go ahead, tell me more.
That I've literally reassessed my life in the 40 minutes. And I thought, well, I'm 53 years of age.
53?
Yeah.
I tried to hit it but with the wrong end of the pencil. There it is. Hit it with the rubber end, otherwise it doesn't work.
Not today, but I'm 53. I'm sort of, I've got some money in the bank, and I looked outside today, and there's no one queuing to come and see me.
I don't get it.
I think you've cut me off.
No, I haven't.
No, you haven't. I've got to tell you about the cats and guinea pigs anyway.
Okay, well, we'll just draw a veil over everything that you just said. So I'm not really sure what it means, but go on.
It doesn't matter. It was a joke about queues of people.
Oh, a joke, you say? Oh, well, then I don't like it.
Oh, it's terrible. Sorry, but this you will like, because I know you've enjoyed or you've had cats as pets.
Yes.
Right. My missus has had loads of cats over the years, and at one stage we had 7 cats.
Oh, that's too many cats.
Right, okay, but they were coming in and out. They weren't necessarily our cats, but we had guinea pigs, and I'm aware of the fact that I'm aware that it's Guinea Pig Awareness Week being cancelled or
postponed. Yeah, it's don't be alarmed. Guinea Pig Awareness Week has been not cancelled but postponed, I think, to the end of this month.
Exactly. So I don't want people to worry about it too much. But anyway, because we had 7 cats that used to come in, one time we had these guinea pigs in the hutch, and I said, right, I'm going to get a guinea pig out of the hutch and show it to the cat.
Use it as a guinea pig.
And see what the cats do, right? So you would have expected that the cats might have come up and sniffed it like lunch.
Like you'd be one less guinea pig.
Exactly. But I did, I didn't want to put the guinea pig in any danger or what. But literally 7 cats ran for the hills.
Well, what's so frightening about a guinnie pig? Do they
I have no idea.
Do they have big teeth, or are they known for their aggression?
I don't know.
I'll just get rid of that, just in case. I'll err on the side of caution. But essentially, what he said was that the guinea pigs just made the cats turn on their tails and run away. Well, that is an interesting result that you got there, John. And I appreciate you passing that on. Even though you did perhaps... Well, let's not get bogged down in that. But I am now utilising the dump button, you see. If it sounds a little bit strange, it's because there's a machine buried somewhere in this building that is shaving bits of seconds off in order to build up that delay again. All I have to do is talk continuously for the next 3 hours, and its job will be complete. 0345 6060 973. On the subject of rabbits and cats and guinea pigs, Pam from Norfolk texts, Nick, rabbit tastes a lot like cat. Nothing offensive about that, is there? No one's going to be complaining about that, are they? Paula emails, everyone should have paid £5 to charity to see the Queen. Well, that's not such a bad idea, I suppose. Tony in Hartlepool says, I think it's a disgrace that people queuing in line in London are complaining. Typical leftists. In our day, we would have stood for days, not like these soft sacks who vote Labour and Lib Dems. Good on Philip Schofield, too, for having the guts to stand up for British sovereignty and jump the queue. God save our kingdom, says Tony in Hartlepool, with at least some of his tongue in his cheek, I expect. At least that's what I'm hoping. And this anonymous text says, will your soundboard be receiving an honour in the New King's New Year list?
No.
No. Blackburn. Hello, Paul.
Hello, Nick. Right, I've got an idea about the bankers.
Yes.
Okay, I will take bonuses off them. What I will do, I'll put them in the real world. They'll be on a pay scale with them that raise the most for the country, getting a guaranteed £1 million. The others would go lower down the pay scale. Now, in 2008, a lot of problems were caused by credit default swapping. and they sold these credit defaults internationally, so the banks nearly collapsed and we had to bail them out.
Right, what's a credit default swap when it's at home?
I don't quite understand that.
I'm glad you said that.
I know that's what caused the problem.
Because I was fearful that you were going to try and explain it to me, because I just don't want to know. But whatever it is, it was financial finagling on an epic scale in order to chase easy money. And when they lost nothing. We lost, and will continue to lose for the rest of our lives because of those people. And they want to do it again because they have learned their lesson. People say that the bankers have not learned their lesson. They absolutely have learned their lesson, and the lesson is they can do anything they want and get away with it.
Exactly. So what I would do to stop that, I would say that if any reckless trading goes on...
Yeah. Thrashing?
No, not quite as bad as that, Nick. I would take 50% of the last 3 years' earnings off them. So that could be quite a lot of earnings taken off them.
Right. This sounds like the sort of this sounds like the sort of communistic talk that'll get you on the next plane to Rwanda, Paul.
Well, I'm not too worried. And the only reason why they want to take the cap off bankers' bonuses is because a lot of bankers probably contribute to the Conservative Party.
Correct, yes. They are overly reliant on the financial finagling racket.
Yes, yes. So I think that's a good idea.
I expect I expect that the Conservative Party enacting policies that benefit those that donate money to them is merely a coincidence. I'm pretty sure that that's exactly what that is. It's just coincidental that organisations that donate money to the Conservative Party have policy enacted in their favour. It's a complete coincidence. Isn't that right, Smug?
I don't know anything.
He doesn't know anything. Why would he know anything? Thanks a lot, Paul. 0345 6060 973. Nikki in Leighton Buzzard says, it usually surfaces around 4 p.m. on Monday, your podcast. Don't sweat it, forget it. Forget what? 4 p.m. on Monday. Well, that sounds about right. Just in time for, your afternoon nap. Rob texts, one of my favourite bits of graffiti driving into Paddington is Eat the Rich, near Old Oak Common. It's funny that Network Rail never painted over it. Eat the Rich. Wasn't that Motorhead?
Rock and roll!
Eat the Rich. Plump and delicious. I bet they taste a bit like chicken. Johnny says, apparently the lying in state queue wristbands are on sale at £150 each on eBay. Does the more you get mean the more you are a patriot? Almost certainly. I don't really know what that means, but I agree with you in every way, shape and form, apart from the bits in which I don't. And I hope that that's clear. Keith in Totnes says, do you believe in coincidence? George V came to the throne in 1910, and within 4 years we were in World War I. George VI was crowned in 1937, and then World War II in 1939. Elizabeth II was crowned in 1953, and then we had the Korean War in 1955. They'll be rushing to crown King Charles to build patriotism before they reintroduce conscription. There's someone else to look forward to. World War III, coming to a location near you soon. 0345 606 60... what is it? 0345 6060 973. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbot, LBC. Funny how you always remember right at the end. Gary in Rotherham says, if the naughty word dump button loses 7 seconds from the show, does this come out of your wages? If so, please ignore the next 200 words. Will do. Thanks a lot, Gary. Let's have Ashford, Milan.
Hey, Nick.
How you doing?
I'm all right, mate. How are you?
Great. Super. Thanks for asking.
I have to apologise, though. I'm very respectful with the Queen's passing, but I'm not draped in the Union Jack. I'm not wearing black, which I'm hoping that's okay. I'm still speaking to you.
Well,
not wearing a black.
I hear that Rwanda is lovely at this time of year.
Speaking of which, I was going to talk about the government.
You won't need to worry about your electricity bill because they don't have any. I'm kidding. Of course they do.
Now, if you think things were bad with Johnson's government, it's going to get even worse because it's probably the worst cabinet probably in living memory.
Staggering. Even worse than the last one, if you can believe that.
Yeah, and when Liz Truss has gone on her tour with Prince Charles, and then there's the conference season, then I think she'll be goaded into a fight with the EU.
She's picked one already. I mean, that's a given. She's picked one already. She's going to do the Northern Ireland protocol thing because it's not working for Northern Ireland, apparently. And Northern Ireland said, actually, it is. We're doing spectacularly well over here. And Liz Truss is saying, just ignore those people. It's not going very well for them at all. But it is. They're doing superbly well, Northern Ireland, out of this deal.
I know. Only 2 areas are doing really well, Northern Ireland and London.
London, yeah.
Yeah, and so is she really going to start a trade war and then blame, and then she'll start to go to the EU and blame them?
Milan, they don't have anything else to fight the next election on. They can't go on law and order because, I mean, look around. They can't go on the economy, of course not. They can't go on financial prudence. They can't go on the health and wealth of the nation. They can't go on the NHS. So what have they got left? The war on woke and picking fights with the French.
I know, exactly. And people still support them. I went to Paris a couple of weeks ago, and on the Eurostar, it was a nightmare on the Eurostar. But
really,
I was calm about it. I thought, well, this is what's going to happen, the huge queues. And then there were these people in the queue who talked about voting for Brexit, and they were just arguing so much and blaming the officials. And I said, well, this is what happens when you leave the single market. Hello? This is what we were warning you about 6 years ago. So why are you complaining? It's not the officials' fault. It's our fault.
Correct.
So, things will get a lot worse. I'm afraid.
It really is. I mean, here's where we are. We're going to think that all things considered, Priti Patel was actually not a bad Home Secretary compared with what we've got at the moment. I mean, good grief! In every way, shape, and form, it's actually got worse. When you-know-who has exited stage left.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
I can't believe it. I am actually stunned.
And as a lawyer, you look at the Attorney General, you think, right, that's the head lawyer, or that's the government's head lawyer, as sense of leadership. And my heart just sank so many times, thinking, how on earth can you be that delusional, not understand facts, and you call yourself a lawyer? It's ridiculous.
It's exactly what would Donald Trump do.
Oh, shut up!
Who is Donald Trump's lawyer? It's
Bill something.
It's the guy who used to be America's mayor when on 9/11.
Oh, Giuliani.
Giuliani, yeah, he's his go-to legal advisor, Rudy Giuliani. I mean, really, they mirror Trump so much. It's almost as though they're paid for by the same few people.
It's so... And luckily, I had the cinema for escapism. Have you seen any good films lately?
Why, yes, I have. I've seen one twice, and I liked it better the second time. It was the new Top Gun movie.
Oh, right, okay. I recommend Fall. I saw that this week.
Fall?
It's amazing. Yeah. Oh, it's amazing.
Is it
I think you would really like it.
Is it about falling?
It's about perceived falling. It's about these two...
Well, don't tell
climbers.
us.
Oh, well.
Climbers? Oh,
yeah.
No. See, I can't watch people up in high places for fear of them falling. See, and if it's called Fall, then that seems like it's not for me.
It's quite gripping and intense. If you've got stuff from Vertigo, then, it's probably not the film for you.
Yeah. I was talking about that with Carol McGiffin today, and we were in agreement that I can't watch those. You'll see videos on YouTube of people climbing up cranes and up buildings and hanging off by their fingernails and stuff like that, for lols and retweets. I can't watch them because it just makes me feel too uncomfortable. I'm lifting my feet up off the floor just thinking about it right now.
Yeah, my stomach goes into knots thinking, wow, how, I mean, these are He's crazy. These people doing that. Oh, there's some moderation on that.
Even if it's not real, it still affects me like that. I just can't. I can't watch it. So it's a no from me. What else have you got?
Can I ask you a question before I go? Are you still having your A to Z at the end of the year?
Yeah. Well, I mean, assuming that I get that long run around Christmas. Yeah.
Because Christmas is great, but the thing I look forward to at Christmas the most is your A to Z. And I always try and have a think, what happened this year? So I've actually got 2 Qs lined up, Q. And the Queen. So, I have to remember that when I phone in.
Okay, well, I'll look forward to it. Thanks a lot, Milan. Cheers, mate. 0345 6060 973. I normally do the A to Z of the year around Christmas. It works out perfectly, almost as though God himself had chosen the amount of days between Christmas and New Year. But it depends on what the rota is like. I'm sure that it's such a Christmas rota hasn't even been written yet, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. This text says, our spaniel was scared of our guinea pig. The guinea pig was completely untroubled by the spaniel. It just sat there squeaking and eating lettuce. Which is what Steve Allen does. He just sits there squeaking and eating lettuce. All of his fans going, right, I'm going to write that down and I'm going to tell him what you said. No, please don't do it. It ain't worth it. Watford. Hello, Reggie.
Hello, Nick. The bankers' bonuses. I was listening earlier to Emily Sheffield, and she mentioned that if the bankers mess up, any mistakes they make, the taxpayer doesn't pay for them. But you're saying they do. So who's right and who's wrong, mate?
They don't pay. Well, we did pay for them. We're continuing to pay for them. We'll be paying for them for the rest of our lives. I mean,
yeah, but she was saying that's not correct.
Who's she?
Emily Sheffield, that was on earlier, your fellow presenter.
Right. Well, I have enormous respect for her. And,
yes.
But I don't know, who is she? Who is she?
Was she one of your presenters, one of your colleagues?
Well, like I said, I think she's fantastic. But on this point, and only this point, we just disagree. That's all. I mean, we did pay for them. The 2007-8 financial crash was paid for by us poor dopes who pay taxes, and we ain't got out of that hole yet before we were plunged into another one with COVID, and we're about to get plunged into another one with this worldwide recession that we are not going to escape, and the one after that with the consequences of Big Bang 2. It's short-termism is what it is, Reggie.
And apart from that, mate, the last time I spoke to you, you was having a go at cats. Now you're having a go at guinea pigs.
Guinea
pigs. What's going on?
I'm just going through the alphabet of animals, picking on them unreasonably one by one, Reggie.
It's getting towards Halloween, and you get that feeling.
Yeah. I don't know what that means, but yeah. Okay, sure, why not? Thanks a lot, Reggie. 0345 6060 973. Jerry in Croydon emails, I wonder if Crazy Kwarteng, who once took part in University Challenge, fears that the Tories have no chance of winning the next election and that he wants a decent position in an investment bank. He could be acting now to save his future. I bet the Tories actually want to lose the next general election. I mean, they will have made such a fantastic mess, such a catastrophic mess of this country over the last 12 years, that they, like Bodger himself, would want to just leave it there on the floor, waltz out and have somebody else come in and clear it up for them. You know, like Nanny.
I don't know anything.
And so they would, they'll try to enact as much that can't be undone by an incoming administration. Just sit there and smoke a cigar for 5 years. And then when the public have been persuaded to blame the new administration, which will probably be Labour, on the mess that the country finds itself in, then the people will go and do the same thing that they always do. They'll blame the party that's in power rather than the one that's just left power, and the Tories will get back in again. I bet that's the actual plan. I wonder if Liz Truss is aware of the plan. Yeah, probably not. 0345 6060 973. David says, did you see that the new monarch has inherited about £600 million from his mother, but won't have to pay a single penny in inheritance tax? 40%, that should have been about £250 million. At least he won't freeze this winter. Yes. It's staggering, really. The rich don't pay tax. And the super rich really, really don't pay tax. Tax is only for the little people. The amount of wealth that has been created in this, and it's not just here, it's America as well, and specifically those two countries, us and America, because we're both run, at least when the right-wing parties are in power, as a winner-takes-all economy. Everybody else gets nothing. The super rich get absolutely everything. And the wealth that's been created since about the 1970s has gone almost exclusively to the top 10%. And within that 10%, it's gone almost exclusively to the top 1%. Everybody else got nothing. For all that effort that you just put in, you are living a life that is less well off than 20, 30 years ago. Staggering, really. And the reason for that is, apart from keeping down wages, is that the rich don't pay taxes. You don't get to be worth £600 million from your salary, your PAYE salary. It's the appreciation of the value of your assets. And assets are taxed at a much lower rate, if at all. And, you know, what we do for a living is we do the financial finagling racket, and we hide money overseas that no tax official will ever be able to find. And they'll just be left with an address of an empty building in the British Virgin Islands that is also, coincidentally, the business address of 10,000 other companies that also don't do any business directly from that building. It's just a postage address. So the tax that gets paid, because it doesn't get paid by the super rich and it doesn't get paid by the ultra poor, just gets paid by the middle class. And and that's the reason why you think, well, I might be on a fairly decent salary, you think. I mean, you know, like 40,000, 50,000 a year. That sounds like quite a lot. And you wonder to yourself, well, how come I've never got any money? Well, there it is. It's because you're the only one that's paying any taxes. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
LBC. This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
Yeah! Dude! Richard in Preston emails 2 questions I hope someone can answer. 1, why is King Charles III not paying any inheritance tax? And 2, who pays the energy bills for Buckingham Palace, Balmoral and Sandringham, etc.? Well, the first one, the answer to the first one is because, and you will be arrested by the law if you ask that question again. And the second, who pays the energy bills? Well, that'll be us then, I expect. I mean, why wouldn't it be? Either directly or indirectly, that'll be us then. As a monarch, King Charles is exempt from inheritance tax on assets he receives in his mother's will. The will, by the way, will be kept secret for 100 years. 100 years. It'll be in some judge's safe for 100 years. The UK tax authorities will get to see the details, but the public will not. The assets as they exist at the moment, I think, is the Crown Estate is 17 billion, the Duchy of Cornwall Estate is 1 billion, and the Duchy of Lancaster Estate is 653 billion. Million, not billion, million. Not that it makes any difference when you get up to those kind of figures. £400 million is about to change hands, and not a penny of tax will be payable. Staggering. Don't you try this at home, otherwise you'll be in for, you'll get your collar felt. This says, I think they should bring back fox hunting, but with 30 hungry foxes chasing some Burke in a red jacket. Well, that does sound like something I would pay money to see. Leeds. Hello, Mick.
Hi, Nick. Just a few points, really. The British public waiting 13 hours in a queue is just absolute madness. Why didn't they use the COVID booking system to manage this? It would have been much easier. You've got hundreds of people passing out in the queue, which puts a strain on the NHS. It's just absolute madness. And on the banker's bonus cap issue, that's madness again. That was actually brought in to prevent another financial crisis that we had where we bailed out the banks.
That's right.
And Truss, the absolute idiot, she's just ignoring that, the lessons learned of the past, for a banker's mates to give them a nice little windfall tax of bankers' bonuses.
It's short-termism. It's short-termism. It's not madness at all. If you were on the end of millions and millions of pounds in what is essentially free money, then you'd think it's super great and the system that you want to defend. I would have to say that it would be one of the main reasons that we've been persuaded to leave the European Union. That and the ripping up of workers' rights and these seriously insidious and scary ideas of these free ports that they keep talking about, which is carving up bits of this country and essentially giving them over to corporations.
Yeah, it's absolute madness. And this is why we're in the mess with the energy companies and the water companies. We're making the same mistakes again and again and again. And the only way is to get politics out of our country. It's just madness.
Hang on a minute. Politics out of our country. I think a little bit more democracy might be a good idea, not less.
No, I think we should leave it to the experts. You know, I've been a civil servant and I've got a better understanding of how to manage this country for the better and the good of all rather than the good of the rich. And then the problem is if you have politics in place, they're always going to be in favour of the rich and not the poor.
Well, no, it depends who wins an election.
Well, this is it. We it doesn't work. It's a system that just does not work, Nick.
Well, our system doesn't work because a party keeps getting elected on a minority of the votes. On a minority of the votes, they get 100% of the power. That is a system that is fundamentally broken.
Yeah, exactly, and it needs fixing, but it's who's at the top and what advice they're taking, because the problem we've got is we've got politicians managing things like the NHS when we should be having the experts managing the NHS, because I work in the NHS and our political direction in the NHS is completely wrong. If we leave it to the experts, we would be in a much better position.
But I think you misunderstand or sort of misread what it is that they're trying to do. If they're actually trying to run the country for the benefit of us all, then they're doing a really bad job. But they've been doing a really bad job for at least 12 years now. So you'd have to assume that it's not a mistake, that it's more a plan. So in that regard, they are doing very well, not very badly. It's just that them doing very well is a bad result for the rest of us. But as just enough people keep voting for a party that is responsible for how we are living our lives in this country, then they'll continue to do it because apparently people knew what they were voting for over and over again. Thanks a lot, Mick. And it is a common refrain. These people, they keep making the same mistake again and again. Well, you have to wonder, is it a mistake if they keep making it again and again? Because these people aren't stupid. It's worse than that. Some of them are evil. They're not making mistakes. It's the plan. This transfer of wealth and power from all of us to the few of them is not an error they keep making over and over again. It's the direction of travel. But come election time, they'll just spot a dinghy and tell you that some bloke is coming over here from some other country to steal your biscuits. And people say, oh, right, yeah, right you are. Carry on. Same again, please. You couldn't make it up. Keir says, Nick, just pointing out that if the King or Queen paid tax, they would be paying themselves. No, they wouldn't, Keir. They'd be paying us, poor dopes. Pete in Weybridge says, I run the Windsor Long Walk each morning. and I was shocked to see numerous funfair-type food kiosks leading up to the castle. It just looks like a bit of an event rather than a funeral. There's candy floss, burgers, coffee and pizza. Just doesn't feel right. Maybe I'm totally wrong with this and should grab a hot dog on the big day and shut up, says Pete. That doesn't seem... candy floss, surely not. I mean, burgers, that's just food, but candy floss, that's fun, that is. That's what kids eat before they just go berserk. Yeah, a little bit too much sugar and chemicals. And pizza. Well, pizza's food as well. Coffee, that's drugs. So, that's the drug that you can have. And if you're like me, you have to have it, otherwise you get a terrible headache. Every now and again, by mistake, I'll drink a decaffeinated coffee and wonder why I can't get rid of my headache. Always read the label before you put it in your shopping basket. Hatfield, hello, Roger.
Hi, Nick.
Yes, Roger.
Yeah, couple of things. A little while back, you were talking to a chap about films. And he was telling you about a film called Falling, and you said, I don't like watching people fall from great heights.
Yeah.
Well, I reckon we both enjoyed watching Boris Johnson.
No.
Go on, laugh.
No.
You know you want to.
No, I really don't.
Bankers' bonuses, 3 words. Mm-hmm. Fandabidosi, if you're a banker.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a mistake. They have learned their lesson, that they can do whatever they like and get away with it. That is the lesson that they've learned. And they are itching to start that finagling racket up at full speed again. And Big Bang 2.0 is exactly what will enable them to do it. Ripping up the rules. When the government talks about a bonfire of red tape, first of all, they've created a bonfire of red tape with Brexit. How's Brexit going, by the way?
Oh, fabulous.
By every measure, it's going abysmally badly. So badly that they've actually cancelled the position of the person who's looking for the benefits of Brexit.
You're better informed than I am. I don't know anything.
He still doesn't know anything. He's been looking, peering through his monocle, can't find a single thing. It's so embarrassing that they've just cancelled that position. There are no benefits for Brexit, so they've stopped the person looking. You're wasting your time. So that's what they have caused by Brexit, is a mountain of red tape that they promised that they were going to get rid of. So that was a mistruth. Liar! They misspoke about that. But when they talk about a bonfire of regulations, then be very concerned.
Warning, warning!
Because they're talking about taking away your hard-won rights. That's what's coming at us around the corner. That's what free ports are all about, taking away your hard-won rights. It's essentially carving out giant chunks of this country, whatever bits that we haven't actually sold off yet, and gifting them to corporations to do whatever they like with them. And I don't know about you, but if you've ever dealt with a corporation, then their actions are usually not in your best interests. They don't care about you. It's all about the money, honey. And you're just in their way. Be afraid. Be very afraid. Josh says, I think you may have been the victim of cancel culture last week, but take faith in the fact that you were cancelled by royalty. Well, I think being cancelled, it wasn't cancelled exactly. Les in Wales says, was really interested to know that the reason you're not on camera while you're doing your weekend show, is this because of your inimitable way of working the engineer's station, or because after 25 years of working on the radio, they still haven't found an engineer that's willing to work with you? Well, I'll tell you what, they haven't found an engineer that can do a job as well as me. There you are.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
Everything is going extremely well.
You bet your life it is. 0345 6060 973. This text says, why can't the world be simpler, like it is for guinea pigs? They only have a few rules. Crying will get you attention. If it fits in your mouth, it's food. Scream if you don't get your share. Other primates and guinea pigs are the only mammals unable to synthesize vitamin C. Wow, that's a very informative text. I don't know if it's true or not, but it doesn't prevent it from being a fact. This one says, the current tax system is criminally unjust. It's designed to make the rich even richer and have the working people pay for it. I know it's probably never going to happen in the UK, but tax should be on wealth, assets, not on income. Correct, Amundo. Yeah, but it probably won't happen, though, because those with the greatest assets are the ones that are making the rules. Aberdeen. Hello, Daniel.
Hi, Nick. How are you doing?
Good, thanks.
I might want to say a bit about telegrams.
Oh, yeah, we're talking about telegrams.
About this,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Telegrams in the UK were abolished in the early 80s.
Oh, yeah.
But in the early 2000s, I got this letter, and it was called a telemessage, and it was in a British Telecom envelope. And this was an envelope from about 1984, before they were privatised. It had like yellow and blue colours, and so.
Well, what's the difference? Hang on a minute. What's the difference between a letter and a telemessage?
Well, a telemessage was a letter that had been digitally sent.
No, well, how did it arrive?
It arrived just as a normal letter, a piece of paper.
So it's a letter.
Yes, but it's.
I mean, did some bloke in shorts walk it up to your house?
He did,
right.
But a telemessage is different.
How?
Because the message had been sent from a business to BT, who then printed it out.
Right.
Who then sent it to me. You see? This was before the kind of major wide-scale adoption of email, before WhatsApp, before all these things.
And that was in the 80s, which just seems like yesterday to me.
Well, I got that letter in the early 2000s, and telegrams were scrapped in the early 80s.
In the 80s, okay. So the early 2000s, and as hard as it is to believe, that was when people weren't really sending emails, and we didn't have mobile phones. Is that true? When was the mobile phone invented?
Well, the mobile phone actually came in the late 70s.
No.
Yeah.
Well, that big brick, perhaps. But when did the iPhone first come out? The thing that revolutionised our lives?
2007.
How do you know this stuff?
Because I'm a massive geek, Nick.
A massive geek. 2007. Think about this, kids. Before 2007, you couldn't take pictures of your face and upload them into space.
Oh, no.
Can you imagine the deprivation? Yeah, exactly. So they presumably don't do telemessages anymore, or do they?
I don't believe so.
Right.
I mean, it would be like sending Morse code or something, wouldn't
it? Yeah, semaphore signals.
Yeah.
So what did the telemessage say? I mean, what was so important that they had to alert you by this newfangled method?
It was an important business letter.
A business letter, right.
I could also say about red tape.
Yes.
Well, I mean, during Brexit, the argument, a lot of it for Brexit was, we'll cut red tape, make things easier, more rights to the public, all this nonsense. And it sounded great to mugs, but if you actually live in the real world, you realise that if we cut our regulations for, say, food producers, then it just all goes wrong from there.
Well, if you try to deviate from the standards of your major market, then you are essentially shooting yourself in the foot, which is what this nation did with Brexit. But we were persuaded to do that because of the fear of people coming over here from somewhere else and living in our street. And so that's why people voted for Brexit, not because they genuinely thought there was going to be a bonfire of red tape, because even now, if I go into the street with £1,000 and a clipboard asking people to name the red tape that they want gone, not one single person would have a clue.
the irony is that, well, now we've changed some and we're going to change more regulations, then the products that were regulated by the EU, we now can't sell back to them.
This is the thing. This is the thing about regulations. They're not going to. They can't change the regulations to deviate much from the European Union because we won't be able to sell anything. It's hard enough to sell stuff to them now. If we really want this country to collapse, then they should do that. They should make it such that we have separate regulations, and so that companies in this country will have to make two different types of product, one for domestic and one for the EU, which will send already teetering businesses into the abyss.
It's already happening.
Yeah, that's right.
Just to get something through customs takes days.
Well, people have given up.
In the past, it would have been waved through.
Yeah.
And like you say, certain businesses have just given up and they're not exporting to Europe anymore.
And if that's what people actually wanted, that companies, the great British companies, would wither and die because of this ridiculous thing that we've been persuaded to vote for, then it's not a patriotic thing they've done. It's the opposite of that. It's traitorism. Is that a word? I don't think it is.
Yes, you just made it a word.
It's traitorous behaviour is what that is. All right, thanks a lot, Daniel. 0345 6060 973. I mean, if you have actively done something that is going to damage the country, then that's being a traitor, not a patriot. It's the opposite of that. And there's plenty of people that have done just that. And they're in positions of power, still. Gary in Bristol says, the way I see it, regarding the queuing system, better a random roll-up rather than our government creating a world-beating app. We've saved £37 billion. Well, that is a good point. Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, if we left it up to the government, then the people would still be queuing this time next year. They'd be sitting at home waiting for that email to arrive on their computer to tell them when it is that they can join the queue. Just days away. Andrew says, have I got a new glamorous assistant? Well, you're practically on a weekly basis. There's a new person through the glass, which is why I call them my glamorous assistant, because they change so fast that I can never remember what their names are. No offence. Ahmed says, I can't take any conversation regarding bankers' bonuses seriously after that Harry Enfield question time sketch. The bankers, the bonuses, the banker, the bonuses. Harry Enfield question time sketch. The bankers, the bonuses, the banker, the bonuses. The bankers, the bonuses, the banker, the bonuses. I don't get it. I mean, Harry Enfield often makes me laugh, but not with that. You want to think that through again, Harry Enfield? You're not making any sense. Alicante, Jane. Oh, Jane.
Hello?
Yes, Jane.
Oh, hello.
Jane.
I've just taken you off speakerphone.
Take me off speakerphone.
And I'm phoning from a landline.
Well, it's a pretty bad landline. It sounds like you're calling from a mobile.
No, I'm phoning from a real landline.
A real one?
I do not have a smartphone.
What?
I have a thick phone. No, I have a thick phone.
Thick phone, yeah.
Yeah. And
I have a smartphone, but mine's an idiot. It never learns anything.
Well, exactly. So I just went for the thick phone.
Yeah.
Anyway, what I wanted to say was I'm definitely going to be deported, I'm sure.
Deported from Spain?
Yeah, I think so, because I'm sure after what I've said that they will find me. But I cannot believe what I'm witnessing. A woman of 96 who had a life of privilege and never knew anything other than everything was served up for her.
Yeah.
And there she was. And then within an hour of her death, they've already divvied up. So, William, you'll get the whole country of Wales.
But
and you'll get also the greater part of Cornwall.
Yeah.
I've got the crown.
And all the flora and fauna therein.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And people are queuing up. I began to think 6 months ago there might be some hope.
Well, if you
I'm
say,
sorry.
I'm going to stop you right there, Jane. If you say another word, we do have an extradition treaty with Spain. They're going to forcibly remove you in order to get punishment here.
Well, honestly, I knew that the brainwashing had reached its zenith, but now it's proven it.
It's burst past the zenith and reached never before considered heights. Right.
And I've always been a person who's hoped that hope springs eternal, but I'm sorry, with what I'm witnessing and on every level, the fact that the sea is full of sewage, and everything else.
The economy is tanking. People are dying in ambulances waiting to get into A&E.
Yeah. But hey, everything stops.
We're going to be
this woman.
We're going to be freezing to death this winter, and
yeah, totally.
Here, what's the weather like there in Alicante, Jane?
Oh, it's a very pleasant 29
Yes, well,
degrees.
thank you very much, but we don't wish to know that. I've got to go. Thanks, Jane. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
This is LBC. Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Are you trying to be funny? Because I'm all out of laughs.
No, there's nothing funny about it. Tony texts, I've had my current mobile phone number for 32 years since 1990. My first mobile phones and car phones were in the mid-1980s. Has anybody had the same mobile number for longer than that, says Tony. Well, I thought I was doing pretty good. I've had mine for 22 years, but you've had 32 years. Can you remember what it is yet? Joseph in Kilburn says, the Banker and Bonuses sketch is by Paul Whitehouse. It is hilarious. It is on YouTube. YouTube, says Joseph. Let's have Wigan. Hello, Barbara.
Nick,
Barbara.
I'm sitting here in a panic. I am sitting here in a panic.
In a panic?
Yes.
Yes.
I've just picked up the TV guide for this week out of the Daily Mirror. And I'm just looking at Monday to sort my day out.
to make your appointments, yes.
Correct. BBC One, 9:15 Morning Live, 10 o'clock Northern Justice, 10:30 For the Love of Money, 11:15 Homes Under the Hammer, BBC Two, very similar, Chase the Case, Lorraine's on ITV at 10 o'clock in the morning, Loose Women's on, your friend will be on. I'm just in a panic, Nick. I don't know what to do. I don't know whether they changed the date. I don't know whether this is not right.
I see what you're saying, because all of those programmes will have been cancelled for wall-to-wall coverage. Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah, but you think that this is dated the 17th of September. I mean, for goodness sake.
Yeah, the thing about those TV guys, I think they're made about 2 weeks in advance. And have you noticed that it doesn't matter what newspaper you pick up, they're all exactly the same? I mean, they have different covers sometimes, but what's inside the cover is precisely the same. I think those newspapers, the sort of mid-market tabloids, they outsource their TV guides to some other company. I don't know who it is, but they're precisely, to the word, exactly the same.
So I'm okay for Monday then?
I would rip up that schedule and keep your options open if I were you, Barbara.
Belton. Now, the other quick thing I'd like to just say, I've just read that there's a big reception going on at Buckingham Palace on Sunday, and it would appear that Harry and Meghan were invited, and apparently now they've been uninvited.
Yeah. Is that a question, or? It's just...
Well, I just feel sad. I feel sad for them, to be honest. I think it's just sad what's actually happening.
The media coverage of that couple is off the scale ridiculous, and I think they only do it because the media feel that by continuing to attack him and particularly her, they are keeping their readership on side. They're furious, clenched fist, frothing at the mouth readership. They just can't stand her or him, and if they keep attacking them, they think they'll sell more papers.
Well, I think if they keep attacking them, Nick, they'll sell a lot more papers in the wrong way, because I think that the way that lad's being treated at the minute is just not. It's just deplorable to me. You know, with what's happening, it's sad. I feel very sad for him. I really, really do.
I tell you what, people, if you feel the same way, stop clicking on the stories online. If you stop clicking on the stories online, they'll stop writing them. I guarantee it. All right, thanks, Barbara. And I was comparing and contrasting the coverage of, some of the royals. This is the Mail. The Countess of Wessex cuddled delighted children, including a baby, and brought smiles to the faces of hundreds of well-wishers gathered outside Buckingham Palace today, as Prince Edward explained why he keeps away from crowds. They're sticky and they smell. I made that bit up. Royal fans applauded Sophie and Prince Edward and could be heard telling them sorry for your loss as the couple shook the hands of dozens of mourners outside. Sophie collected armfuls of flowers, including sunflowers and roses, and was given paper tributes to the late monarch by some of the well-wishers. That's the Countess of Wessex and Prince Edward. The Princess of Wales today appeared confident and regal as she put her guests at ease with active listening techniques, touching rituals, and prolonged eye engagement, according to a body language expert. Kate, 40. Wow, is she 40?
Chiều cuối thu đông lại về trên con đường vắng